this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more.
If audiobooks are your thing and you've been meaning to listen to more of them, you should check out a podcast called Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audio Club, hosted by Cal Penn. Each episode spotlights standout audiobooks on Audible across all kinds of genres: sci-fi, comedy, romance, thrillers, and more, with Cal talking to guests who help break down what makes each story worth listening to. It's a fun, easy way to discover your next great audiobook. Check out Earsay on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know, a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and Jerry's here too, and it's a good old-fashioned barn burner, whiz-banger of an episode. I ran out of weird colloquialisms.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just now, didn't you hear?
Yeah, but I just figured you were still doing them in your head.
No, I was frantically grasping for another one in my head, and it was just dust and a tumbleweed.
So this is sort of continuing our underwater series, we'll call it.
Yeah, this is stuff you should know. We've done like stuff that's like much more specific about the general category that we're talking about, and now we're finally doing the general category.
Yeah, we did the diving bell.
Mm-hmm. We did the butterfly. We did cave diving. In fact, cave diving was released as a select just this year. Yes, such a good one.
And do I need to remind you about the other related episode?
I forgot about that. Oh my
I'll give you a hint.
Meow. I remember the Scuba Cat episode. Didn't you interview Scuba Cat?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for those of you who don't know, the short version is many, many years ago in the very early days of the podcast, occasionally we were sort of told to do certain things as
unspeakable
episodes.
Things.
And two of them really stand out to me. One of them was Scuba Cat.
I know what you're going to say for the other one.
I know you do. Which was this guy who trained his cat to scuba dive, and it's literally like a blurb or maybe a little fluffy news piece at the end of a news program. Mm-hmm. And they're like, do a Stuff You Should Know episode on this cat and this guy. Why, though? Do you remember? Did they just want page views or something?
I guess, or else that guy happened to be friends with, whoever owned the company at the time.
All right. So I think there was an article on the website we worked for, and they were probably just trying to drive people to that. So we did one on Scuba Cat. I would really love that just to be scrubbed from the archive.
Well, way to go bringing it up then. What was I going to say, Chuck? Oh, wasn't this thing in like a little submarine? Kind of? Isn't that what the scuba diving was?
I don't think so. I think he built him a little outfit.
Oh, okay. Wow.
A little thing with like a big bubble mask.
Okay, that's worth an episode. We should redo it. We should do a Scuba Cat Redux.
What's the other one you want to? I know we're going to say it.
We could say it at the same time.
Right,
I think it's going to be
3, 2, 1.
Tinnovators. Yeah.
What can you do with an Altoids tin?
Yeah, for real. Like, I don't know how that one came up either, but we were instructed to do an episode on Tinnovators. And they were interesting, but not episode length interesting.
Not even when they were 6 minutes long.
Yeah, and a Tinnovator, just for those of you who don't know, they take Altoid tins and they do things with them, like turn them into radios. Maybe they hold coins instead of Altoids. It's just repurposing. Exactly. It's repurposing an Altoid tin. Tinnovation. Very well.
Oh, boy. And we always talk about jackhammers in the sun. Like, that's because we're literally too ashamed to even mention those other two. But here they are. Go listen to them. Just quickly wanted to say I got back from Mexico and I did not scuba dive. I snorkeled.
Oh, yeah, it's fun.
And I love the experience, but I learned that and especially my daughter are free divers.
Oh, yeah.
She couldn't do it, man. We got her. I mean, she loves to swim more than anything. And we got her in all the gear, put her in the water, and she was pitched a fit, quite frankly.
Oh, like she couldn't breathe through the tube?
She does it in pools. Like, it just, when you're 8, things happen, and you can't explain why a kid will dig in. Mm-hmm. But she wasn't into it. We were very frustrated, did not handle it well. She asked to get back on the boat. She got back on the boat and cried while we snorkeled. Uh-huh. We were like, we're out here. We're going to do it. You'll be okay. And then once we were done, she asked the scuba guys or the snorkel guys, can I just get in with my mask and free dive? And it was in Mexico. And they're like, sure.
Right.
And she did. And she turned into a dolphin. And I recounted this on Instagram. I took some great pictures of her just swimming like no kid has ever loved swimming before. And it was just a big lesson for everybody.
I know what happened, though. I think, unless I'm misreading it, she got claustrophobic from having to breathe through that tube.
No, she does it all the time in pools. What it was, I think, was wearing the life vest, keeping her up on the surface.
Oh, okay. Well, you left that little detail out.
Well, I mean, that's part of snorkeling is you got a vest on so that it keeps you up top. And she was like, no, I belong down there. My home is the sea, as Bonnie Prince Billy says.
I gotcha. Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense. I guess I was just projecting onto her because I used to get claustrophobic trying to breathe through a snorkel.
Well, a lot of people on Instagram supported that and said, I have a hard time with this equipment too, and I love to swim. But it was really that life vest, I think.
Okay. All right. Well, we finally established the root cause then.
Yeah. But here we go with scuba.
Oh, okay. I guess. Okay. So what does scuba stand for, Chuck?
Self-contained underwater breathing situation.
Appomattox.
Apparatus.
That's right. Scuba is actually like an acronym, but it's so widely used now. It's a lowercase word. I'm not sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
It's not, nobody does it with capitals and periods or anything like that. It's just it's a word. It's its own word now. It's almost lost its meaning as far as like the acronym goes. And yet it's gained so much meaning over the years because as scuba has been around for over the decades, more and more people have found the joy of going underwater. And I heard you laugh at me, by the way, and breathe. If you breathe fully underwater, no snorkel, like your head is nowhere near the surface of the water. And it doesn't need to be like significantly distant from the water. It can just be like a foot below the water, but you're breathing underwater. It's an amazing feeling for sure. And a lot of people have discovered that over the years and said, scuba's the life for me.
Well, as of December 2019, you had scuba dived once. Yep. Have you done it since?
No, and I'm actually a little troubled because I read that you're supposed to go like 3 or 4 open water dives, and I only went on one. So I've been under the impression that I've been certified to scuba dive all this time, and I'm like, is that true? I can't remember where my card is or anything. So I wonder if I actually wasn't fully certified.
Or satisfied.
I would find it very dissatisfying if that were true.
Well, do you want to do it again? Because I didn't get a good read on you in 2019.
Maybe.
I didn't know you then like I know you now.
Maybe because I before the reason I didn't like is because it made me seasick. Like the air mixture did not sit well with me. And then getting on the boat in between dives made it even worse. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I don't feel like doing this ever again. But I think enough times passed that it's possible I would try it again.
Well, I want to get certified now for sure. I did anyway before, and we thought we'd wet our beaks with snorkeling. The big problem I had, man, was the fins. I mean, there were a lot of currents, and I felt like I couldn't go and get anywhere.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when Ruby was freediving, I did the same thing. I took off all my stuff except for my mask, and I went down there, and I was like, all right, well, I feel like I can swim again.
Yeah. It takes a lot of getting used to because it's meant to help you, and it does if you are familiar with it and comfortable with it. But if not, it's all encumbrance. It makes everything difficult. And yes, you just want to take it all off and just free dive, like you're saying.
Yeah, Emily was cruising around, but we saw a little. My first coral that I've ever seen, like live coral, and it was beautiful. And the little stripy, bright fish, and I was in there with those guys for the first time, and it was remarkable and amazing.
Was it a Dory or a Nemo that you saw?
Oh, I don't know. It had I think yellow stripes. I don't think it was technically a clownfish, although maybe they're all types of clownfish. I'm not sure.
What's a clownfish?
I think like a Dory or a Nemo. I saw this one big thing that was like the size of a dinner plate, another big flat guy.
Oh, wow.
He was cool. And then Emily saw a sea turtle, which I did not see.
Oh, neat.
And then we also saw their efforts to, with artificial reefs, with like these PVC sort of pyramids that they were building down there.
Mm-hmm. God bless those people, right?
Yeah, this coral wasn't in great shape. It was in parts, but other parts were not great, and that was sad.
Yeah, you can thank the fossil fuel industry for that.
That's right.
So, Chuck, one thing that I had no idea about with researching this scuba episode is that the scuba phenomenon, I guess you could call it, dates back to the mid-19th century. Mm-hmm. And it's not like somebody had an idea and then 100 years later somebody actually created it. Someone in the 1860s actually created the first scuba equipment.
That's right. Are you going to say his name? You're going to make me do it. I'll say the first name, Benoit.
Okay. And it's a roll or rock and roll.
Is that what that means?
I don't think so, but it looks, and when you pronounce it, it sounds a lot like rock and roll.
Yeah. Rook and or roll.
roll. Yeah. Rock and roll.
Yeah. So he's obviously French, and he was not trying to figure out a way to recreationally dive in the ocean. He was trying to figure out a way to help others, rescue workers, rescue people in collapsed mines because these things would get filled up with nasty gases. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, I think I can invent this system that allows these rescuers to go down there and breathe safely so they can save these people. And he called that first one a regulator for equalization of compressed gas.
A little on the nose.
A regulator.
Sure. So I guess it was a little verbose.
Yeah, or a demand regulator.
Yeah, and the reason it was a demand regulator, and this is the big deal. Like you could feed somebody air continuously, but you're going to use up a lot of air. You might overinflate their lungs accidentally, which is it can be a problem with novices in scuba. But a demand regulator means that you're only sucking in that compressed air when you're breathing in. When you exhale, that air is no longer coming into your mouth, into your gullet.
Yeah, it's on demand, like the best movies.
And this guy, along with a guy named Auguste Deneroux. It was in there. That last one, I think, nailed it. But
I think so.
Benoit and Auguste, let's call them that. They got together and figured out how to turn this not just into a mine safety piece of equipment, but actually to use it to breathe underwater. So they put the whole compressed air thing in like a backpack. I get the impression it was like a fabric bag holding the compressed air. They put that demand regulator on, and they were working underwater, untethered from any boat, using the first genuine scuba in the 1860s.
Yeah, it was like the first legit diving suit, essentially. They had lead-soled shoes, and they had weights hanging under your arms. At first, there was still no mask. They had used a nose clip. But then a year later, in 1866, they brought about the first mask, which was a copper helmet with a single window that they called the groin because it was French for pig snout, and it kind of looks like a pig snout.
Oh, okay.
And they won for their efforts. They won the gold medal at the 1867 World's Fair.
Nice.
It's called the Aerophore.
Yeah, they call it the Aerophore, right? So, but again, the thing about this is you're like, yeah, I've seen those before. Like there was a haunted one on Scooby-Doo. There's an air hose coming out of the helmet. No, that's the distinction. There's no air hose. They were untethered to anything. They could roam as free as they wanted on the seafloor.
That's right.
So fast forward a few years, about 70. Yeah, about 70 years. There was another person who had a very similar idea. What was his name? Christian Lamberton?
Yeah. Well, there was a guy in the 20s, Yves Lapreur.
Okay.
Who, and Dave helped us out with this. Dave dug this guy up, and it was sort of one of the first sort of modern takes on a scuba system. But the air still wasn't on demand at that point. They adjusted the airflow like as they went along. And then Christian Lambertson came along in 1954 and did a couple of things. Well, actually, he came along in 1939 with the Lambertson Amphibious Respirator Unit, or the LaRue. Didn't rename it Scuba until 1954.
Okay.
But he was this was a rebreather. It still wasn't the same thing. He had a CO2 filter, and he was trying to pitch it to the military. He was an American guy. He's like, look, this thing's got no bubbles. So he pitched it to the Navy. Like, you can sneak up on people, in other words.
Sure.
And he pitched it to the Navy. They rejected it. And then the OSS, which the U.S. had at the time, the Office of Strategic Services, would eventually not become the CIA, but sort of become the CIA.
Yeah, morph.
Yeah, and the OSS loved it, and like their underwater unit started using this Lambertson scuba unit, even though it still wasn't it was a rebreather, and we'll talk about all that stuff soon.
Yeah, which is more advanced than scuba. So this guy basically just created the more advanced version of scuba out of the gate.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And his invention was so successful that it was used from the 50s to the 80s by the U.S. military.
Not bad.
Unchanged. Kind of like, you see like those mid to late 80s movies and the cars are still look like they're from the 70s because nobody updated their stuff until that Ford Taurus came out in 1988 in RoboCop. It's like that.
Man. What a great movie.
In the 80s, they were like, this is an old-timey rebreather. We need to update this.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was that's almost like a separate track. Like Christian Lambertson was very much dedicated to inventing this stuff for the military. He invented a more advanced version of scuba called a rebreather, which we'll talk about, like you said. The much more familiar version of the scuba story kind of went in parallel and started about the same time as Christian Lambertson. And it was a pair of French guys who, up to Christian Lambertson, they were running the scuba world. And it was Jacques Cousteau and Emile Gagnon. And those two together are the ones who gave the world scuba.
That's right. I saw Gagnon, then also saw he was French, and it was Gagnon.
Yeah, I know. It's just I didn't want to attempt it. I'm so tired of failing.
Oh no! So they got together, like you said, and they kind of took Roquayrol. Yeah. They took his old on-demand regulator and said, "All right, I think we can update this thing." Gagnon in World War II had invented a regulator that used cooking gas to feed into the carburetor of a car because the Germans said, we're taking all your gas, Paris. And so he sort of retrofitted a way to make a car work. And Cousteau was like, this is brilliant. We can use this for scuba.
And he's like, you want to huff cooking gas underwater? He's like, no. We're not going to use the cooking gas, Gagnon.
Yeah, and also scuba hasn't been so named yet. It was still probably about 10 years before that. So they called it to Jethro Tull's delight, the Aqualung.
I had an idea, and I don't know, maybe I can convince you right here, and we'll go back and edit this part out, of any time we said Aqualung, just playing that one little riff. Yeah, exactly. I think that we could get away with it. After hearing the intellectual property episode, I think we could get away with just that little bit.
Well, at the very least, you could play my mouth version, because that's free and clear.
All right. We'll look into it in the edit.
It's funny. Our old pal, friend of the show, Paul F. Tompkins, every time the word Aqualung comes up, he gets upset. Well, not upset, but makes a point of, why did Jethro Tull put that one line in there? Snot is running down his nose. That line really bugs him.
Does it?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I've not heard that one.
Yeah.
Anytime I think of Paul F. Tompkins, I think of Cake Boss.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. So they didn't call it scuba yet. Cousteau didn't. They call it the aqualung. Like you said. Right. But it was the same thing. It was if you go and take up the sport of scuba now, it's essentially the what you're doing, like what Cousteau was using. And the reason it caught on is because he made a movie called The Silent World that was released in 1956? Yeah. And it won an Oscar. It was an amazing documentary. And I was watching it. I'm like, wow, there's some amazing wreck diving scenes in there. But it's also hilarious. One guy pulls the door off of the hinges of a shipwreck to get into the shipwreck. They're just totally vandalizing the ship.
Yeah.
But I was also at the same time thinking I'll bet audiences have never seen something like this.
That's it. That was the ticket with Silent World. There had not been a lot of underwater photography. Mm-hmm. And it blew minds in 1956. Not only did it win the Oscar, it was the first Golden Palm winner at Cannes for a documentary.
Yeah.
And stayed that way until Michael Moore won for Fahrenheit 9/11.
Oh, wow.
And it grossed in today dollars $33 million.
Oh, not bad.
As a documentary, that's a theatrical doc. That's really, really good money.
For sure.
And also, just to finish up on Gagnon.
Sure.
He was not happy with that first version. So in 1958, he finally released what was called the Aquamaster regulator and sold 1 million of those up until 1972. That was the go-to regulator.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So yeah, these guys essentially created the recreational version of scuba, introduced it to the world through The Silent World, and sat back and took kudos from that point on. And if you watch The Silent World, it bears a strong resemblance to The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
No mistake.
And one other thing about Jacques Cousteau, I didn't realize, he worked for the French Resistance, as a matter of fact, during World War II.
Well, Dave, we're going to have to do one on him because Dave sent us this material and was like, please, please, please let me do one on Jacques Cousteau. And we went, no.
Speaking of Dave also, Chuck, he has his podcast, Bible Time Machine.
Yeah, it's about Bible stuff, but you don't have to it's from a historical perspective.
It's highly accessible.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
I know. But he had a blockbuster guest on the other day. Actually, I think it came out a couple of weeks ago. He had John Cleese, and he interviewed him about the life of Brian. John Cleese.
How did that happen? I couldn't get a John Cleese on Movie Crush.
I don't know how they must have their ministers or friends or something.
Yeah, that was great. So big congrats to Dave on the John Cleese app.
Exactly. And if you like John Cleese and you like Dave, go listen to them talking to one another.
Yeah. Shall we take a break?
I think it's high time. We finally made it through the first section.
All right. We'll be right back.
Have you ever invested in something that seemed incredible at first but didn't live up to the hype? Well, marketers know that feeling. They optimize for the numbers that look great, impressions, reach, and reacts. But when they don't show revenue, well, that's a not so great conversation with the CFO. LinkedIn has a word for that: bull spend.
That's right, because you need to invest in what looks good to your CFO. LinkedIn Ads generates the highest ROAS, 121% of all major ad networks. You can reach the right buyers with LinkedIn Ads, and you can target by company, industry, job title, and more.
So cut the bull spend. Advertise on LinkedIn, the network that works for you. Spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads and get a $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply. Hey everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well designed, and they can be well designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Introducing the all-new Mazda CX-5, featuring more connection,
Hey Google, where's the nearest Pilates class?
safety that has your back, more discovery on the scenic routes, more passion in the details, and more control in changing weather. The all-new Mazda CX-5, more to move every side of you. See it in 5 films at MazdaUSA.com/5sides.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC. Sequences shortened and simulated.
All right, so we're back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the different types of scuba diving that you can do.
Okay.
There's the aforementioned open water diving that you talked about that is, it's the most common one. It's what you think about when you think about going on vacation, somebody taking you out in a boat, throwing that gear on you and saying, have a lot of fun, everybody.
But it doesn't have to take place on vacation or even in a tropical locale or even in like a sea or an ocean. It can take place in a lake.
Sure.
It can take place in a quarry. As long as, I'm not kidding, as long as there's no what they call ceiling over you, there's nothing between you and the surface of the water, that's considered open water diving. And that's the far and away the most common recreational diving.
That's right. And you can go down, if you're certified, and we'll get to the certification, you can go down to 100 feet with your advanced open water certification. Yeah.
But with the main one, the first one that you get, just the regular open water diving certification, it's 60 feet.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if that was official.
You got to go back for the extra 40 feet.
You want an extra 40? It's going to cost you.
So there's also night diving is another one.
Fun.
Same thing, but at night. And there's apparently a whole different world out there in the ocean at night, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I love swimming at night in the ocean, but
I can't do it. I'm scared of dark water.
I get it, dude. Even an ocean swimming person like myself was out in this water last week at night and fine, having fun. But at a certain point, I was like, huh. And then it's like, I'll just casually swim back in.
Yeah. So I would have started out with that, huh?
Right. It took me a little while.
Yeah. But it does sound pretty cool. Like if you're not afraid of dark water, then of course, just that would be a great time to scuba dive. It's a little more dangerous though than regular open water diving because you can get lost very easily. So most of the time you're tethered to the boat, so you can find your way back.
That's right.
What about drift diving? This sounds like you did the reverse of this, snorkeling.
Yeah, drift diving is, oceans have those strong currents, or certainly if you're in a river. And I think the point of drift diving is to get dropped into one of these currents and off you go.
Like those sea turtles in Finding Nemo.
Yeah. Were they sea turtles?
Yeah, they were riding like the underwater current. It was like a highway that you could get on and just zip off.
I haven't seen that in a while.
I haven't either, but apparently it made a really strong impression on me.
It sounds like it.
So it's cool because you don't have to expend as much energy, which is like, well, who cares? Actually, scuba diving requires a lot of energy. It's really hard work. So to save yourself any effort or energy is pretty great. And then also, because you're working hard, you're breathing harder. So you're actually using more oxygen without a current than you are with a current, which means you can conceivably stay down longer because you have more air.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Sure it does. That's why people love it.
You got technical diving, which is an umbrella term for most kinds of advanced diving that we're going to continue to talk about here. And maybe we should just talk about those because most of these next few fall under technical diving. The first of which is wreck diving.
Mm-hmm.
You can go out and swim around a legit sunken battleship or ship, either one that was naturally sunk or, well, nothing naturally sinks, I guess, like that, or so not supposed to at least. But, like one that was sunk in battle or one, now they go out there and don't use PVC like I saw.
Right.
I saw these little PVC pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
They will sink a full ship and say, all right, do your work, coral.
Yeah, exactly. And they do it to form coral reefs, but at the same time, also, it's just something interesting for divers to come look at, too.
Yeah, but I think you got to be pretty advanced to actually, if you want to swim through like the kitchen or something like that.
Yes.
Generally, you're just sort of swimming around it.
Right. You can do just regular, basic open water certification diving around it, like you said, on top of it. When you want to go in it, you better add several years to your diving experience.
Yeah.
It's extraordinarily dangerous because in a shipwreck, there's all sorts of things you get caught on, you get stuck on, you can get lost if the ship's big enough and dark enough.
No, thank you.
Exactly. And like all of the other technical diving, it has a ceiling. There's something between you and the surface that would impede you from going up to the surface if you needed to. That's when it really makes it so dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds interesting and fun, but I'm going to stick to no ceiling. I
like watching videos of it. It makes my toes curl.
Uh-huh.
But because, it used to be above the surface. But I don't think I would want to wreck dive either, but I like watching wreck diving videos.
Yeah. You got your deep diving,
mm-hmm.
which requires deep dive certification. And I believe you can go down to 131 feet and beyond if you're, if you really get those certifications in order and you've got the wherewithal.
Yeah, I think when you go and get your first deep diver certification, the most they want you to go down is 130 feet, 40 meters, right? But then I think with experience and like you hook up with other deep divers, then you start going further and further down. But that's
once they make fun of you at dinner.
Exactly. But the extra thought and preparation and all the extra things that can go wrong with a deep dive, it's amazing. Even if there's nothing over you, between you and the surface, just being down that deep it can be very dangerous. And 40 meters, you're like, that doesn't seem like that deep. There's like the Titanic's at like 12,000 feet or something crazy like that. That's significant because your body's not designed to be down 40 meters, that many atmospheres below sea level.
No. And we'll get to decompression sickness and all coming up.
Well, let's talk about it here. How about that?
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Actually, that sounds exactly as how we discussed it.
Sure.
So you've probably heard of the bends.
Yeah.
That's sort of the common name for decompression sickness. And that is it can be pretty rough, apparently. It can be very painful. It can be fatal. And it's caused by nitrogen bubbles right. in your bloodstream. That's the problem with the bends.
Yeah, because the air we breathe has like 72% nitrogen. 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen. The rest is trace stuff, right? And that nitrogen typically at sea level, or even, higher than sea level, but whatever. I think I just made this more complicated than I needed to. But the nitrogen typically goes through our body and we expire it, breathe it out. It does nothing. It doesn't react with anything. It's too hard to chemically deconstruct and use for something else. It requires too much energy, so we just pass it through. But when we're down breathing, the nitrogen that stays in our body at any given time when we're below surface, below sea level, it turns into a gas and permeates our bloodstream. But as we go up, if that gas isn't absorbed slowly into our tissues, it will form bubbles. Just like when you open a pop, a soda, a Coke, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
If inside there's no bubbles, but when you open it up and introduce air and change the air pressure, the atmospheric pressure inside the can, all that gas turns into bubbles, carbonation, of CO2 carbonation, and that would be the same thing that happened in your tissues and joints. And that is not something that you want to happen.
No. If you want a Topo Chico or a soda or a nice frothy beer, you want that thing carbonated. You don't want your insides of your body carbonated.
No, you definitely don't, because it's agonizing. Apparently, sailors named it the bends because you'd be doubled over in agony. That does not sound great. And then on top of it just being extraordinarily painful, it can kill you in some circumstances. So they figured out that you actually you can stay down at a certain depth for a certain amount of time, and then if you do, you're going to have to do what are known as decompression stops on the way back up.
That's right. On your way, you got to know how deep you are. You got to stop when you're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hang out for a little body, give your body a chance to equalize the pressure, and then you go up a little bit more and then do it again. And obviously, this is all completely regulated by your dive instructor. They're telling you what to do unless, you're out there on your own and you're like super experienced, you know how to do all this stuff. But they're telling you how much time you need to spend at what depth to ascend safely. Just to give you, Dave dug up this kind of fun fact about I think the deepest scuba dive on record was over 1,000 feet by an Egyptian diver named Ahmed Geber. And 14 minutes down, I imagine you've seen the videos of those deep divers where they just put on the gear and they have some sort of a weight and they just get dragged to like the bottom of the ocean. Very quickly, it took 14 minutes to get down that deep, but it took 14 hours to safely decompress on the way back up.
Yeah, just slowly. I mean, that's crazy.
It's a long time.
So yeah, a lot of the deeper dives you spend way more time doing decompression stops than you do actually doing your dive, right?
Yeah.
So you have to calculate this stuff. There's tables, there's dive computers that we'll talk about, but you have to, before you go into the water, you need to know exactly how long you're going to be down there, exactly what depth you're going to be at, and then you have to know, based on those two factors, how many decompression stops you have to make and at what depth back up on the way back up that you need to stop at.
Yeah. 2 words you're never going to hear scuba diving are wing it.
That's right.
You don't want to wing it.
Man, no, you definitely don't.
You got altitude diving. So if all this talk of going down, and different pressures and things makes sense, then it would make sense that if you're diving in a lake super, super high above sea level, that would change things too. And it does. If you're more than 1,000 feet above sea level, it's going to be a different experience. So, they're going to know what they're doing there too, as far as, how you're going to decompress and going down when you're actually high up.
Right. Which it's strange. You're like, okay, you're actually high up, but because you're underwater and all that extra water pressure, it has, apparently you're more exposed to decompression sickness at high altitude dives than you are below sea level.
Wow.
You remember very famously in the firm, 2 things the firm introduced the world to: Red Stripe beer and the awareness that you can't scuba dive and fly in the same 24-hour period.
And my cousin and my uncle, who lived in Memphis at the time and were very briefly in that movie.
Oh, really? Were they the person on the beach?
No, my cousin was a little girl at the time, my cousin Autumn, and she was like a full screen shot of her and another kid at the big company party early on. And then my Uncle Steve, who you've met, that lives out near San Francisco, he had he was trying to be an actor at the time. He had a speaking line. I think if I'm not mistaken, he came into an office and said something about,
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
I think that was it. Anyway, I didn't know Red Stripe. Was that in the firm?
Yeah, definitely. No one knew what Red Stripe was until then. And all of a sudden it was like the hippest beer on the planet because the 80s were so shallow.
Okay.
So that's altitude diving and our little side trip on the firm. There's also cavern diving and cave diving, which are usually put hand in hand.
Yeah, we covered those.
They definitely do connect, but really cavern diving is just not really going all the way into a cave. Once you are out of the light, you are now cave diving. If you're in the light, you're cavern diving. And so that means things like cenotes and springs qualify as cavern diving. There's easy access to the surface, Whereas with cave diving, if you've gone and listened to that episode, there is no access to the surface, and you are completely out of your mind to even try it once.
That's right. It's our episode from December 2019, Cave Diving, Totally Nuts.
Yep, appropriately named.
You got ice diving.
Yeah.
You can actually go dive in the cold water under thick ice and go see those animals like penguins and seals and things.
Yep. And apparently there's a place called Ramu Quarry in Estonia that has good ice diving. But in the summer, the big draw is there's a sunken underwater prison there in the quarry.
Cool.
Yeah. Like you can swim around. There's bars on the windows and stuff like that. It's pretty neat.
Oof. Sounds spooky.
It does. So what about the gear, Chuck? If you say, okay, I like this. I want to go ice diving. I want to go cave diving. I want to do it all. What do I need to get, Josh and Chuck? Well, I say we tell everybody what to get. What do you say?
Well, you got to get an oxygen tank. No. You're not supposed to say oxygen tank because it's not oxygen. It's a scuba tank or it's a cylinder. And like we said, it's filled not with just oxygen. It's air that you breathe. You got to breathe like you normally breathe.
Right.
So it's going to be 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, and those trace gases. They want to give you an experience like you're used to as far as breathing goes.
Sure.
Unless you do something called enriched air diving, that's got 32% oxygen and less nitrogen, which they call nitrox 32. And this lets you stay down there a little bit longer, and you don't apparently at all have to make those decompression stops?
No, I'm sure that there's a depth and a time at depth that you would have to make decompression stops, but it's much deeper and much more time before you would have to. That's my impression.
Okay. All right.
There's also a BCD, and a BCD, in addition to your tank, your cylinder, is probably the second most important piece of equipment for scuba diving. And the reason why is because this is a little inflatable or, very importantly, deflatable vest that you wear that, if you use it properly, allows you to hover completely motionless in like during your dive. And if you're really good at it, you can use it to like back out of a place upward or downward. There's just a lot of really neat things you can do using this buoyancy control device. And if you can't do it, then you might start going up to the surface. You might be stuck on the bottom. It takes a lot of practice, but when you get it right, you can really gracefully and really smoothly move through the ocean.
Yeah, I mean, that's the videos you see. No one does videos of you in snorkel fins going, I can't swim in these things.
Right.
Or my daughter crying on a boat, or somebody floating up, bobbing up and down with their BCD being a PIA.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
A PIA. Oh, I see.
You know.
I got you.
It all just looks like all you do is just jump in that water and you're just immediately perfectly floating and meeting Nemo.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great point, Chuck, because it takes a lot of practice at this. Nobody goes into scuba diving and is just a natural at it, because we're not naturals at scuba diving. It's something you have to learn and you have to practice at. But once you do, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I look forward to it. You got your regulator, which we talked about, that different people help perfect over the years, and that is going to regulate that flow of the pressurized air into your mouth. They differ a little bit, but generally you have the first stage part. That's the one that actually attaches to the scuba tank and is going to do that first sort of pressure reduction to make sure you're not getting blasted out. Then you've got your demand valve, or the second stage, that goes into the mouthpiece that you're using to breathe. And you're going to have a second mouthpiece. It's almost like a backup parachute, right?
Yes, that's a really great way to put it. If you are out on a dive with a buddy, which you always want to be out on a dive with a buddy, and your buddy's air runs out, you have a second mouthpiece that accesses your air that you both can use as you start going back up. You can save your buddy's life with the additional hose.
Pretty good. Or I'd imagine if something went wrong with your own, right?
Well, I guess, but that would mean that your actual, like your mouthpiece or something broke and you could use the other one. Sure, if that happened. If something went wrong with your air, no, it's just as useless as your other one.
You know what happened when I was snorkeling?
What?
I snorkeled for a few minutes and I went to put that thing back in my mouth and it wasn't there.
It fell off?
I was like, hey, dude, I'm not feeling one. I can't. Do I have a mouthpiece and a snorkel? And he went, no. And then he went, I see it. It's on the bottom. Let me go get it.
Jesus.
I guess it just became unclipped or something.
Yeah. I forgot I think they do come in pieces then.
Well, no, this was the tube, the whole thing.
Oh, I see. So you just had it attached to your mask and it just fell away. I see.
Fell away.
Speaking of masks, Chuck, by the way, you can have a single lens mask or a dual lens mask. Did you know that?
Yeah. I've also got and I was going to take it down there, one of those full face snorkel deals, which I have used in swimming pools, and they're quite fun, but I did not take it. But I do like the idea of sort of the old school single lens.
I do too, but the great thing about a dual lens is if you wear glasses and you have two different prescriptions for your eyes, you can get prescription lenses for your mask, which I had one of those. It's really neat. It's helpful. Although you can also just wear contacts like a normal person.
Do you still have those? That mask?
Don't know where it is. I don't have it handy, so I'm not sure where it is.
Your prescription might have changed anyway. You should just get a new one.
It's true. I just wear contacts now. I could use any mask.
Oh, that's true.
What else?
Well, we got those fins. You don't call them flippers because they're going to make fun of you. So you got those fins, and they are pretty standard. They're the ones that I saw mostly were split fins, and they are just, there's no getting around it. Those things are awkward to swim in if you're not used to them. I felt just like I was stepping on it's kind of like wearing snow skis. It just felt very awkward.
Well, also, in addition to being awkward, you can really accidentally tear up coral or do all sorts of stuff if you're not, adept at using your fins or you're not aware of where your body is. So it's not just you that had trouble with fins.
Yeah, my toe on my left foot kept cramping up too.
Man,
it was
this
not
sounds like a terrible experience.
It was great once I took those things off.
So so scuba diving is a very expensive hobby. It's expensive up front, it's expensive during, it's expensive after. It's just an expensive hobby. And one of the things that has the most expense as a one-time expense is your dive computer.
Yeah.
It's essentially a giant watch that gives you all the data you need for your dive. And I did not know this, but Apple has one coming out called the Oceanic Plus, which looks pretty awesome. It's probably going to be $1 million, but there's much more like affordable dive computers / watches available. And they're all going to basically tell you the same stuff, right?
I hope so. They're going to tell you, how deep you are, how deep it gets below you, how much air you've got in that tank, how cold or hot the water is, your decompression status.
It says the water's cold.
Rate. Yeah, like it just says chilly. All the stuff that you need to know about your ascension when you're going back up to the top is going to be there. And, as far as whether or not to invest as a purchase with all this stuff, it's up to you. Like I would say go out and give it a shot. And if you really, really love it, and it's the kind of thing where you're like, well, hey, I know every year we go to this island and, it might be worth it to go ahead and invest in buying your own stuff. Probably not the tanks and all that, but the mask and the snorkel and the fins and maybe a dive watch and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the dive watch also, if you're going on a dive that's, led by somebody, that dive master is probably going to have the dive computer and you don't really need your own because the dive master is going to tell you where to go and when. But, they're pretty slick. Apparently, they'll tell you to slow down if you're ascending too fast, where to stop, when to stop. It's just, it's pretty neat. I can't imagine what they did before dive computers. It just must have been exponentially more dangerous than it is today with dive computers.
I would imagine. And as far as investment goes, the same goes for your wetsuit. Even if it's, if you're going down and even if it's a hot day and the water feels warm, it can, the water's going to get colder and you may want that wetsuit and wetsuits are awkward and weird too. So,
but they work.
If you find a good wetsuit that fits and you're going to be doing it a lot, maybe buy your wetsuit.
Yes. And
or if you don't like putting your stuff in things that other people's stuff has been in.
Exactly. Because those are very tight fitting for a reason. You let a little water in there and then your body warms the water and the warm water keeps your body warm in return. They work really well. But there's also the dry suit for water below 50 degrees. And you might say, well, then when do you need a wetsuit? Apparently, water as warm as 80 degrees Fahrenheit can give you hypothermia if you're in there long enough.
Wow.
Yeah. So even if the water feels warm when you get in, you still probably want a wetsuit while you're scuba diving.
We mentioned the rebreather earlier that was sort of invented early on by Lambertson, but then perfected later. But this is what you do if you don't, well, for a few reasons. But one reason, if you don't want those bubbles coming out,
right,
you can get a rebreather that is exactly what it sounds like. It's going to capture that air that you're exhaling, scrub that CO2 off of it, and then add back in the oxygen to make it breathable air again. And, you know, the military uses these. If you're an underwater photographer, you might want to use these.
Sure.
And it allows you to dive longer. And, you know, if you want to stay down there for a while, rebreather might be for you.
Yeah, apparently the record of staying down using a rebreather is 145 hours by a guy named Saddam Al-Khalini. Yeah, pretty impressive. So I say we take our second break and come back and talk a little bit more about scuba. Have you ever invested in something that seemed incredible at first but didn't live up to the hype? Well, marketers know that feeling. They optimize for the numbers that look great, impressions, reach, and reacts. But when they don't show revenue, well, that's a not so great conversation with the CFO. LinkedIn has a word for that: bull spend.
That's right, because you need to invest in what looks good to your CFO. LinkedIn Ads generates the highest ROAS, 121% of all major ad networks. You can reach the right buyers with LinkedIn Ads, and you can target by company, industry, job title, and more.
So cut the bull spend. Advertise on LinkedIn, the network that works for you. Spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads and get a $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing the all-new Mazda CX-5, featuring more connection,
Hey Google, where's the nearest Pilates class?
safety that has your back, more discovery on the scenic routes, more passion in the details, and more control in changing weather. The all-new Mazda CX-5, more to move every side of you. See it in 5 films at mazdausa.com/5sides.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC. Sequences shortened and simulated.
In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty.
That's right. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure, nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery.
You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets.
That's right. And that all adds up to predictable deliveries that you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future that you're building. Just visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS Ground Advantage.
Okay, Chuck, so if you are going to go scuba diving and you don't have a certification, you go get in the water, the scuba police will probably arrest you no matter where you are in the world. True or false?
That's false. And it kind of surprised me that there are no laws per se, or not even per se. There are no laws that you have to have a license. It's just sort of one of those things where, A, it's really, 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 really smart to do that so you know what you're doing safely. And B, I would dare say almost any dive outfit in the world will require that you have that. Maybe there's some super janky ones, and I don't know if I'd get on one of those boats if they're like Like, nah, you don't need a card. Who cares?
No, you don't want.
I wouldn't go with that. So they're going to ask you for your card because there are risks.
Even to fill up your tank. If you show up, they'll ask to see your certification, your card.
Oh, so you don't just run off and do your own solo dive?
I guess. I guess. I think it's just like they just want to make sure that nobody who isn't trained is scuba diving, and that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
So if you want to get certified, there's a few ways to do it. One of the most popular ways to do it is called Discover Scuba, and it's a very shortened, abbreviated version of the certification process where you go to like a resort and you take like a less than an hour of classroom time. You go into the pool, you do a test dive, and then you go, down to the beach and get in the water and scuba around. It's probably where other people are snorkeling. It's very low risk, and you're not fully certified after that, but it's enough for you to go enjoy scuba on vacation without having to go get certified first.
Yeah, you're not going to be super deep. You're probably not going to be out with like a good coral reef or anything either.
You never know.
I guess you never. It depends on where it is. But, we were on a boat for, 12, 13 minutes, like kind of hauling out into the ocean to get to this one.
Neat.
Or are they right off the beach sometimes?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They can be.
What do I know?
I mean, that's surfers will get tangled up in coral sometimes. It can be a real hazard.
Well, those are deep water surfers.
So that's the most basic way to get certified. And again, you're not actually certified. The basic certification, the open water certification, usually takes a few days to complete, at least just even the first part. There's classroom time, they call it theoretical, where you're learning. The thing the guy who I took lessons from said that you spend the first hour learning how to scuba dive and the rest of the time learning how to stay alive while you scuba dive. Because it's actually not that hard to scuba dive. A lot of it requires practice, like inflating your BCD and achieving neutral buoyancy. But it's really just it's not hard to understand. It's hard to remember what to do when you're panicking underwater so that you don't do the wrong thing. And that's really the bulk of the classroom time.
Yeah, it's going to cost you, it depends, but it's generally around $500. Again, you can do it whenever you want. If you want to go down on your vacation and spend time doing this, you can do that. Sure. But you're on vacation. Like, it's probably smart to go ahead and get it done before you get down there so you can just hit the water. And in every state in the country, like the least water-like state in the country has scuba classes you can take.
Yeah, because again, you can be certified in like a quarry, and basically any state has at least a flooded quarry, if not a lake, you could be certified in for open water. You only have to be 10 years old. There's no maximum age, but this is really important. If you have a pre-existing condition, you want to talk to your doctor about whether or not you should scuba dive, because again, you're exerting yourself way more than you think you're going to. And if you, say, have a heart condition or something like that, it can actually trigger a heart attack in you. And even without the exertion, just the difference in atmospheric pressure on your insides can accidentally trigger a heart attack in you too. So it's definitely not something that you want to just take lightly if you have a pre-existing condition.
No, I can't imagine anything more terrifying than cardiac arrest under the ocean.
That's pretty bad for sure.
Yeah, or I guess in the ocean. You're not under the ocean.
Under the sea.
So you have to know how to swim, though. I mean, I think that's a given, but we should say it. You're going to be certified for life, which is kind of cool. You're going to get your little card for you to misplace. And generally these days, you can have that stuff online on apps and things like that through PADI, P-A-D-I, Professional Association of Diving Instructors. That's kind of the big daddy. The big patty, rather. But there's also NAUI, NAUI, the National Association of Underwater Instructors, and also SSI, Scuba Schools International. And they can all certify you. But like I said, Patty's sort of the biggest one. And you're going to spend a lot of time early on with this course learning this stuff like you've talked about. Like most of this is done, you can do online at your house. And over the course of, 5 to 10 hours, learn all the stuff, learn the hand signals, learn the terminology, learn the equipment, and kind of all the basics that don't involve actually getting in the water.
Yes, but if you have the time and the wherewithal to go take classroom instruction for the first part, like in the classroom, you should take that opportunity, because you will be hanging around the local scuba community. You'll be immersed in it rather than showing up the first time for your what's called your confined water dive, which is essentially where you put all the stuff you learned in the classroom to use in a swimming pool in the back of the scuba shop.
So you'll know them and they can say, "Go, Josh, you got this, bro."
Exactly. If they don't know you, they'll be like, "You probably have this." We can't really say either way.
Yeah, I have no emotional attachment to you, though, so either fail or pass. I don't care.
So I told you early on that having like just even a little bit of water over your head while you're breathing underwater is amazing. And that's your first experience in that confined water dive in the swimming pool. Uh-huh. It's amazing. It's also kind of boring because they're like, what does this hand signal mean? Or show me how you can inflate or deflate your BCD, that kind of stuff. You're just showing that you know what to do as a novice. And then after that, after you pass that part, you go do your open water dives, which is the real deal.
Yeah. And like you said, at the very beginning, you need to get 4 to 6 of those under your belt, depending on the certification program. You've only done the one, but they don't all have to be in the ocean. You don't have to wait till you go to the Bahamas or whatever. You can do that at a nearby lake or that, what do you keep talking about? The
reservoir? Quarry?
The quarries. You can do it there if they have it set up there. And basically, you're just going to practice with someone there, learning how to get that ear pressure equalized and, like you said, the buoyancy, and just kind of getting it all down pat. Because what you're really looking to do when you finally go out to that coral reef is not be hassled and feel very comfortable and at ease and know what you're doing.
Yeah, and a lot of people do the classroom and the confined water dive at home and then go do their open water dives on vacation. So you can start at the coral reef if you want, but what you're saying makes a lot of sense as well, too, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a big question about all this, and from what I read, the certifying companies or agencies or whatever they're called, the bodies, they don't like to talk about the inherent risks of scuba. Like, they acknowledge it is a risky activity. It's riskier than staying at home knitting, but it's probably even riskier than is generally thought of. It's a dangerous thing to do, and you should know that going into it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, not to scare anyone off.
Oh, I'm trying to scare people off.
Danger is relative term. It's a relative term, but about 100 people in North America die annually scuba diving, compared to 46 people last ski season in the U.S. But there are a lot more skiers than scuba divers, so that's about 100. Another 100 internationally scuba diving. So that's a fatality every 200,000 dives. Compared to a fatality per 1 million skiers. But
a scarier way to look at it is that fatality rate is 3.4 to 4.2 per 100,000 divers, because many divers go on more than one dive a year.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a low number to me still, but like I said, everyone has their own risk tolerance.
It is. Apparently, if you go scuba diving and you aren't alone, you're with somebody who knows what they're doing, and that person that's taking you, the dive master, is not a risk taker, you're probably going to be totally fine. It's the foolishness is what skews those numbers, because something like 40% of scuba fatalities came after a diver got separated from their buddy, and an additional 14% came from people who were on solo dives. Like, they purposely didn't go with anybody. They just went and scuba dived by themselves. That is a very dumb, reckless thing to do. Going diving.
So that's 54%.
Yeah, 54% was these people didn't have a buddy with them. So if you have a buddy with you scuba diving, which they say you always should have, like, that just completely changes your risk exposure just based on those statistics.
And they don't even have to be your buddy.
No, they're just called that. You can really dislike each other. As long as they don't want to actively harm you, you're probably going to be safe with them.
I mean, I would want someone to like me at least. We don't have to be best friends, but
At least pretend, right?
yeah, like I want to know that they care about me.
Well, okay, all right. That's a lot to ask.
Okay. You got anything else?
I do have one more thing before we go. I know we've gone really, really long, but one of the things that is a common cause of death or at least injury is something you wouldn't think of. If you're panicking and you, like, say your air runs out, you're triggered, you start swimming upward. First of all, you can get the bends, but you're probably holding your breath because you're underwater. That's what your body and your brain tells you to do. That's a terrible thing to do because as you get closer to the surface, your lungs are filled with air, and the air is now expanding beyond the capacity of your lungs, so you can pop your lungs. You can also create bubbles that go into your arteries and create embolisms, and it's just a bad jam. So there's actually something called the CISA, which is a controlled emergency swimming ascent, where you basically swim upward slowly as your panic mind can do while you're exhaling the whole way so that when you reach the surface, you don't have a lung full of air. Whew. Pretty neat.
Pretty neat. Baby's got the bends.
That's a great album name.
Well, think Radiohead.
Yeah, Baby's got the bends. It was the EP that followed OK Computer.
No, the Bends was their full-length LP.
I know. This is the EP
OK
that they were testing all the material out on.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Okay. So
I just couldn't figure out if you knew it was an actual song.
I did, but I'd forgotten when I was making the joke. So for all intents and purposes, I didn't know.
All right.
You got anything else?
Just one more Radiohead test.
Let's hear it.
No, I got nothing else.
Okay. That means then it's time for listener mail.
Just a couple of kombucha corrections for us.
Boy.
This is someone named Frederick Overby Peterson.
Overby.
Overby? Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you know that?
Because there's a really great reporter named Peter Overby, and I think there's also, his brother, Dennis Overby, maybe, and they spell it that way.
B-Y-E?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, and also probably so people don't say overbite.
Right. I'm sure kids say it anyway, but you know.
I'm sure they do. So Frederick brews kombucha for friends and family and wanted to share a few things that we got wrong, but very sweetly, Frederick just says are worth adding. You don't need a SCOBY to start, guys. Store-bought kombucha is actually enough. Mm-hmm. If you brew your sweet tea and let it cool down, and then add a little bit of store-bought kombucha drink to the tea, the kombucha you add will start eating the sugar and form a SCOBY seemingly from nowhere. So nice because it makes it super easy to get started, and you don't have to seek out that SCOBY from your neighborhood social media page.
That's pretty cool.
And not all kombucha is related, unfortunately.
I don't like this part.
As beautiful as it might have been, guys, they are not. The SCOBYs form when making some kinds of vinegar. When making homemade apple cider vinegar, for example, a SCOBY can form on the top. Now, I never managed to make my own SCOBY from scratch, but I've seen it several places and many guides on how to do it. But it's not as easy as making kombucha. And that is Frederick Overby Peterson.
Thanks a lot, Frederick. First of all, great name. Very stately. Secondly, thank you for all the information. That was great info, too. If you want to be like Frederick Overby
Peterson,
then you can get in touch with us like they did by email. Send us an email to stuffpodcast@iheartradio.com.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
You know, you could be adored by everyone and still completely ignored by your cat. Trust me, I know. But if you feed your cat Sheba, you can go from being ignored to truly adored in 12 days guaranteed or your money back. Sheba has a full menu of products, appetizers, entrees, treats, even a kitten's menu. It's so cute, so Sheba has a product for even the pickiest eater. Like Sheba Puree, it's made with bone broth, they are chef-inspired flavors, it's got a smooth and creamy texture that cats love, and contains no corn, wheat, soy, or artificial flavors. It's food that your cat's gonna love. To learn more, check out Sheba.com. That's SHEBA.com. If audiobooks are your thing and you've been meaning to listen to more of them, you should check out a podcast called Earsay, the Audible and iHeart Audio Club, hosted by Cal Penn. Each episode spotlights standout audiobooks on Audible across all kinds of genres: sci-fi, comedy, romance, thrillers, and more, with Cal talking to guests who help break down what makes each story worth listening to. It's a fun, easy way to discover your next great audiobook. Check out Earsay on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Service opens doors, and at American Military University, it can open doors for the whole family. If you have a loved one who served in the military, you may qualify for reduced tuition. AMU offers flexible online programs designed to fit your schedule, so you can keep moving forward wherever life takes you. Learn more at amu.apus.edu/military. Open doors to the future for you and your family with the help of American Military University.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.